Okay. Hello everyone! Welcome to the OC Philippines Nationals 2025. And for this match, I think it's going to be a 7-1, if I'm not mistaken, at least that is. Let's take a look at our matchup. Yes, it's going to be Wewoj versus Tenshi. I am Lively Peninsula. Joining with me is going to be Surf285. Hello there. How are you doing today? But for now, before yun. Hindi. So, I'm actually really curious how this one's gonna go. But at least from my prediction, I think, at least tingin ko si which will probably go for a more, I don't know, hybrid-oriented siguro or LN. Kasi feel ko Tenshi really has, may gap kasi sa skillset ni Tenshi when it comes to LNs and hybrids. But I think if I were Tenshi, I would probably ban an EX pick kasi that's the thing with higher seeds. They tend to be better in the later. Yeah,
oh my gosh, I just realized something.
Yeah, ano yun?
Like, di ba nagsalita ako kanina? Nakamute pala ako sa OBS. Galing.
Okay, well, I hope everything's okay now.
Yeah, it should be.
No problem. So, once again, this is Lively Peninsula joining with me, Surf285.
Hello.
I hope all is finally taken. There we go. Sino nga? Okay, so Tenshi protects Camprella. Siguro, hindi ako nagugulat kasi yun na nga, kasi pakiramdam ko kasi Wewoj is gonna go for the LN or EX tawag dito? LN or EX route.
Yeah.
Tigid ko kasi yun yung talagang strengths ni Wewoj na makakapitalize niya over Tenshi. Kaya tingin ko that's really gonna be the path.
Yeah, that's the bone that we're kind of throwing the more late game people, like the EX picks. Kasi a lot of them have been avoiding like picking the more easier stuff. So what if give them a bone, especially in the in these earlier rounds.
Okay, so ewan ko. Inihintay ko, parang tinitignan ko yung protect ni Wewoj. Sabi ko, expected naman yun. Feel ko Wewoj is gonna ban probably, I actually think it's gonna be Rise 4 or Rise 2. Kasi, I think,
I'm expecting Rise 5, if anything. Ayun sabi ko nga ba, Rise 5 And then for Tenshi, I would think LN1 or LN2. Maybe even EX2 if gusto niyang tanggalin yung But no, it's LN1.
Yeah, expected yun. Expected yung LN1 na ban. So tignan natin. What will Tenshi pick first? Yeah, I think it's gonna be Rise. It's anywhere from Rise 2 to 4. Kasi tigit ko Rise 1 is a bit too physical na eh. Ewan, that's my opinion.
I mean, like, there's like 4 Rise starts really here to look at, I'd say. Pero like if Tenli is just going for like a full Rice route, you kind of have to pick EX1 at some point. And this is this is with the assumption pa na mapapanalo mo lahat I mean,
Okay, well obviously.
yeah. Since it's Tenshi's first pick, so at most 3 Rice charts will be played here. Kung if this actually goes the distance. But no, it's actually okay. Mali ako basa, si Tenshi pala yan. Tenshi will be picking Rice 1, Mitz Orbis ang ating speed pick.
Ito yung pick na sinabi ko kanina na Tenshi should probably avoid. Ewan, kasi feeling ko I just don't think this is the pick that really benefits Tenshi in the Rice department.
Medyo medyo alanganin, I'd say. Also, wait, don't say.
Ano yun?
Don't say, check my chat.
I hope that this is just a wrong version na dinownload.
Yeah, nga.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
Pero judging by the reaction, parang sadya.
Sinadya to. Nako, side trade. Nako po. Huh? Side trade po ata tayo yan.
Hindi, parang it's kind of bad to see this. Kasi kung iisipin mo, alam mo yung like, I have a feeling nasa disadvantage na kasi Tenshi tapos siya pa yung magsa-sight read.
Kaya nga Pero Wewoj is saying that they cannot play speed, so malay natin ano mangyayari dito. Anyways, too late. It's already started. Alright, so here comes Mitz Orbis.
Okay, so OD8 is usually a pretty high OD when it comes to 7 key. Kaya, yun na nga, medyo alanganin. Kasi I don't think Tenshi is the most accurate player, pero I could be wrong.
They're holding on right now. Also, just a matter of fact lang, OD8 is actually the standard OD for Rice starts. It's in the looser end pa nga especially for charts like this. You'd usually expect higher OD pag pag chord locks tayo or like very strict accuracy based patterns like chord streaming and all. But anyways, Tenshi holding on to the accuracy very well as it stands.
I'm not confident with this though. Kasi Wewoj is pretty consistent Kaya even though 98.9 siya ngayon, the chances of Wewoj missing is a lot lower than let's say Tenshi. Although parehas silang adept sa 7 key. I mean, of course, Wewoj is a bit more adept. Seems like Tenshi will have the accuracy advantage.
Okay, that's a big miss actually.
That's the worst place to miss. That's the worst place to miss kasi the chance of Tenshi missing in a part like this is much lower than sabihin natin sa ganito. Pero, if Tenshi misses 2 in a row, sabihin natin ganon, that's definitely gonna be more than enough kasi the accuracy difference will not be big enough. However, mukhang consistent si Tenshi If you look at the UR, halos parehas lang sila ng unstable rate. So, something tells me Tenshi is just gonna be more consistent.
Oh, well, there's a miss coming from Tenshi and that might actually change things. But Wewoj manages to find the trade. So, just to note lang po, trading misses favors the person in the lead. Kaya si Tenshi pati po may hawak ng lamang ngayon. May isa pang pattern sa chart na to that is actually a point of concern here. Like, sa may pinaka-ending siya. Not only that, like at the very ending where it's just trills with the spacebar column just interlaced in between. Pero look at this, bumaba po ang accuracy ni Tenshi and it's actually Wewoj with the accuracy right now.
Teka lang, meron pang a little bit part. So the only hope for Tenshi here is if Wewoj drops accuracy but wala na.
Yeah.
Yun na nga sinasabi ko. That's what I was saying. Okay, so the 3 misses, if Tenshi got 1 less miss, this would have been their point. Actually, that 100s were the reason why Wewoj won this. If it was only 100 between these two players, this would have been Tenshi's point.
Tenshi actually holding on very well until those drops at the end. Very unfortunate actually, kasi this would have been their best chance to score a breakpoint, I'd say.
Not really a breakpoint. This was Tenshi's pick
Oh
after
yeah,
all, so definitely not.
not on. First point pala. Yun, there we go. Okay, now so
Pero
Wewoj
now,
going for EX2. Tinatapon na ka ng mahirap.
you kinda have to kasi gato kasi yung disadvantage with players like Tenshi. Because Tenshi isn't, at least from what I observe, hindi kasi masyadong accurate si Tenshi sa LNs. Ngayon, you're up against someone who's better physically. If you're forced to ban something like LN1, which is one of the easier side on the physicality, if I'm not mistaken, ha?
That is
If hindi mo magagamit yung pick na yun, especially against someone like Wewoj, they're really gonna abuse the EX picks against you. Kasi, ngayon, you're picking something harder than the rest of the pool. Kaya, feeling ko, Tenshi, tactical-wise, that's a disadvantage on their side. And ngayon, I have a feeling Wewoj is gonna make them pay with that Ellen Bon ban.
ang mahirap pa dito, side trade.
Yun na nga
This isn't well, yes, this start is very side trade friendly, pero it's not pero scoring on this is hard on a side trade.
Ayun lang. So, here we go. The inverses definitely are something, but I actually like how slow it is, like the coordination parts here. I think this is where Wewoj is really gonna shine, at least on the long term.
At yun, isang miss galing kay Tenshi at this on that section. Medyo it's not the place that you'd want to miss kasi it's on a more calmer section. And there comes another one with increase in density.
Pretty much. Okay, so with that miss from Tenshi, thankfully, the accuracy is still up there. Pero consistency talaga is gonna be a problem eh. Again, with players like Wewoj, you can't really rely purely on your accuracy to beat him. Because Wewoj is definitely gonna make you pay if you're not consistent enough.
And there comes another miss from Tenshi. Now on the slowest section of this chart, like this is the worst place you could find a drop now.
Alright, here we go. This is the rig section, so get a little bit of a breather here. Especially if you're Wewoj, because now the pressure is really on Tenshi to be consistent, and that's not helping their case.
At yun na, the increase in like Wewoj is just holding on very well, which is really good for them. Like I haven't seen Wewoj this consistent actually, at least with PHNats last year as a point of reference, which is really good.
Imagine if someone misses at the very end, but like with how dense the patterns are.
Oh no, well there you go.
Well, there it is.
There you go. Good job.
Alam mo, it's actually really unfortunate that happened to Tenshi sa dulo kasi tignan mo yung accuracy nila. In terms of ratio, it's actually pretty close. Pero the 200 count kasi yung magiging basis natin eh. So, feeling ko, while the ratio was close, yung 200 count shows a difference in their ceiling, basically. Kaya Wewoj definitely has the advantage there. Kaya nga, I think Wewoj is really gonna pick all those EX picks. If I were Tenshi, I would have actually banned this pick instead.
Yeah.
Kasi yun na nga. Even though LN1 isn't exactly a good pick, I just have a feeling that's not the kind of pick Wewoj is gonna pick anyway. You know, that's something players have to consider din eh. You can ban something, but like, what's the chance of an opponent picking that? I have a feeling Wewoj has a higher chance of picking EX2 rather than LN1. I think that was just a strategic mistake there.
The one thing you have to note, especially in the early rounds, na expected mo, pag makita mo agad, Ellen release, Ellen coordination, you're gonna expect slower songs or slower charts in general. And medyo, like, those who are in the higher level are going to be a bit more risk averse. So, slower charts in general for, like, if you're at a certain level are a risk, major risk siya. And as you mentioned, like you might, like, if you're that person who wants to take advantage of those quote unquote easier charts, then why ban said easier charts? But anyways, going on to this one, Tenshi going for Rice 2, which is expected of someone who mainly plays Rice.
Tama. Ano kasi, ang magiging problematic lang dito is tingin ko the density stamina and I'd say even density, while maybe to some players this isn't the densest chart, for someone like, okay, Tenshi going against Wewoj, this is definitely up there. Kaya tingin ko this is gonna be very, the density can really decide everything, not just the stamina. Kasi reading is a big factor sa mga charts like this eh.
Yeah, ang daling mag-blur ng mga patterns, especially like, pag masyado ka ng in a trance while you're playing, like suddenly na lang, like when a chart just throws something weird that you miss. But as it stands, Wewoj holding on very well to that 99.8% accuracy. Again, showing really good form. But Tenshi, on the other hand, ito na yung sinasabi natin, the density might be affecting them.
Ang laki kasi ng parang density and stamina factor dito eh. Kaya I understand where you're coming from. Dapat talaga, I feel like they should have picked Campanella instead. Or even Rice 4. Actually, wait, is this Rice 3 or Rice 4? I forgot.
Rice 5 is banned. Ooh, big misses there coming from Tenshi at the end of that chord stream. Okay. Campanella is Rice 3. Rice 4 is the chord jack pick. Which, funnily enough, the chord jack pick has been avoided in every single match. Even banned
that's crazy.
Twice.
Wewoj is just accurately hitting these great patterns. Actually, really crazy work from Wewoj here.
Yeah, very consistent form here by Wewoj. Like this is a statement score, if anything. Like, akala nyo na...
Don't miss at the end now.
Ayun. That is a statement score right there from Wewoj. Only 3 200s from the barely missing out on the V1SS. If anything, this is a statement score from Wewoj, like saying na, hey, akala nyo auto jam lang ako, naglalaro din ako ng Rice.
I think the message here is the fact that the the ratio from the both of these players is actually very sizable. Unlike kanina, where nakita natin na dikit lang yung ratio nila from perfect to maximum. I refuse to call them perfects and greats, okay?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, we call them 300, 200. Pero we call the Rainbow 300 in this case a solid. Ano yan? Solid ratio.
Solid. Wait. The audio, by the way. You know, don't you just love it when Osu Klein just does that?
Yeah.
Like, alam mo, hanggang ngayon, I still wonder how that error even happens.
Yeah nga eh. I mean, okay just as a fun fact. The tournament client, like the streaming client, hindi yung laser yung stable na na ginagamit. Kasi the laser tournament client is just an overlay. Okay. Ngayon, itong tournament client nito was literally coded like way back 2013, 2014 pa. And apparently, sobrang mas spaghetti code pa raw to kaysa sa stable itself. Kasi the tournament client is like, on a 1v1 setting, you're effectively running 3 OC clients at the same time. Isa sa player 1, isa sa player 2, isa for the back end. So, from there pa lang, you'd actually think na something will go wrong somewhere.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Okay, so ano na, back to the match. Wewoj is picking Mirai to Konekto.
Mm-hmm.
So, eto na po. Actually, good pick here from Wewoj. Like, this is still one of those picks na, ano, na you'd think that Wewoj has an overall advantage, really. Kasi ano eh, like, kita mo na, you're dominating chord streams. LN is pretty much on your favor sa'yo. So, put them all together, you get this chart.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. So,
Pero ano ha, ang accuracy ha, medyo malapit-lapit tayo ha.
well, yeah, it's close, but it's not gonna really matter much if the consistency isn't there.
Well, there's a miss,
Well,
as you said that.
yeah, yeah, Tenshi missed twice already, and the thing about Wewoj is, again, he has been very consistent this match, other than, of course, yung first chart. Pero, come to think of it, this match kind of exposed a weakness that Wewoj has. I feel ko, if there were any other chart that had that kind of pattern, which I think medyo konti lang, then Tenshi could use it. But again, accuracy-wise, they aren't too far apart. It's really the consistency that's getting to Tenshi right now.
Another miss from Tenshi before the densest part of the chart kicks in. Or at least one of the denser parts of the chart, really. As Wewoj is slowly gaining accuracy despite the increase in density. But there's an uncharacteristic miss. This is actually... But it's a fairly clean miss though. They did not really drop their accuracy that much. So the lead effectively still is increasing, especially with Tenshi finding yet another combo drop a few moments earlier. And now Wewoj just needs to take this home.
Yeah, very, very clean yung misses and mistakes ni Wewoj kung meron man. Kaya, if you're to compare to Tenshi, it's not going to really mean a lot.
Really nice run here by Wewoj, our number 4 seeded player here, showing why they're seeded that high. And now they are at match point.
Yeah, that's a very bad position to be in. But thankfully, Tenshi still has one more pick, and they're protecting that. I think it has to be Capanel at this point.
Yeah, kampanala na yan. Like, go pick your protect. Kasi, ano eh, like, you gotta stop the bleeding somewhere, somehow. Ayan, there you go. They are indeed going for Campanella.
Yeah, that's the only logical pick here, really.
And I think like the only thing, the one thing that saves Tenshi here is that Campanella is relatively less dense than Paranoia. Like, it's just fast. Pero again, this is potentially the last pick of this match. So Tenshi really needs to make this count.
I will say this, okay? The good thing about this pick is, again, it's a bit... I hope it's not as dense as Paranoia.
Yeah,
but at the same time, OD 7.8. Ooh, that's actually kind of risky. Kasi feel ko raw ratio goes to Tenshi slightly. I mean, we saw that on Rise 1. Pero OD 7.8 just gives both players chances to get lesser 200s. Although very minimal.
Magkakatalo talaga dito. Like, ano eh. Like, who could just maintain that level of consistency for the most part? And this intro does not count. I'd say like we'll have to look at that once we enter the second half of the chart, and if both are still full comboing.
Yun na nga. So, actually, for something like this, seems like Wewoj is more comfortable. Hindi siya yung parang delay stream na chart eh. Kaya, ayun, Wewoj definitely has a better chance in this pick compared to Rice 1. And Tenshi is still within striking distance. But Wewoj has been so consistent this match. So I won't be surprised if this doesn't move at all.
Ito na, like these faster streams are gonna be a determining factor really who exits this chart with a better score. And as it stands, it's Wewoj really staying consistent with that 99.72 performance, potentially stabilizing at mid 99.4. And now we're at the approaching the final quarter, where we're about to enter that pretty dense pattern.
Well, Wewoj is actually dropping some 200s here. Oh, really? Okay, there we go. Oh, Wewoj is dropping a little bit more, but Tenshi is as well.
I don't think that's enough.
If we see...
I don't think that's enough.
Pero meron pa din. There's still a glimmer of hope. But Tenshi drops more 200, so it cancels out.
That's big.
Oh,
I think there's
wait a second.
time.
Wait.
There's enough time, I think. There's enough time.
Yes, definitely. But then she has the full combo. No business cannot be afforded. 2,000 points lang in lamang. Wait a second.
Ooh.
Oh, please,
Tenshi,
please.
that's enough.
Oh.
Tenshi did enough to score a point.
Oh my God.
Better
Kinabahan ako dun. Kinabahan ako dun. 150. 150.
150.
One miss. That 150. If buti na lang that was a 50. If that was a miss, that would have been it.
Yeah, like we would have been talking about a different thing right now if that was a miss indeed. Ooh.
I'm just glad to see Tenshi get a point here. It easily could have been 3-2. Easily could have been 3-2.
Easily.
Pero that's not the point right now. That's not the point. The fact of the matter is Tenshi got a point. Very impressive. I think this is the biggest difference in seeding, where someone from the lower seed actually gets a point. Most of the matches this weekend have been
in both 4K and 7K as it stands. Like, at least as far as I know.
Tignan ko. Okay. So the previous match was seed 8-9, right? And this one's 4-13. If I'm looking, okay, realistically kasi, I'm looking at the rest of the matches. They're gonna have a really hard time getting from the top seeded players, really. But okay, the fact that this happened in this particular match, especially without
what Rice 4?
Tignan natin. I have a feeling this is a mind game here.
Yeah,
mind game though.
Mind game
sure.
to. Unless if Tenshi for some reason could actually ratio.
I think that's the wrong question to ask. It's more like if Tenshi can be consistent. Kasi it's very clear that Tenshi's ratio has been equal, if not slightly better than Wewoj on some cases.
Well, Tenshi just needs to bring that consistency really. Like, there's a glimmer of it with kanina sa Campanella. They just need to hold on to that. So we have 3 minutes and 3 seconds.
Ito na. Yun lang, 3 minutes. Okay, OD 9. Yeah, this is going to be a very, very challenging one. Not because of how fast it is, but because of how much reading.
OD talaga eh. Oh, a 200 from Wewoj, that's actually pretty huge. But then she traded it with a 200 of her own as well. So a matter of recovery here, really, from that single 200 is already, making a difference here. And Wewoj is showing better accuracy as of the moment.
But the thing about core jacks is, with how the nature of core jack charts are, the moment you miss, it's going to deduct so much compared to other rice picks. So, as long as Tenshi is within 0.2%, which is clearly he is, then that's going to be enough if Wewoj makes a mistake. And that's a big if. Because I think Tenshi has a higher chance of missing here.
Well, you're just gonna have to hope that Wewoj also finds wow. Wow. Alright. Only the mere thought already caused that. Alright.
I think the problem was the stream part. So if we
Oh.
see more of those in this core jack chart, then that's really gonna give a chance. Although Tenshi has to start increasing that accuracy because Wewoj will increase it as well. So yun na nga, those stream patterns affected Wewoj's performance. Pero this is not safe, ha?
Oh.
I'm sure as the chart progresses, this is gonna be much harder.
Actually, if you're noticing, the score gap is leaning towards a decreasing trend. Just because Wewoj is still at 99.8. And there is a potential for increase of accuracy if Wewoj can stay consistent at a denser part.
I'm a bit concerned. Well, Tenshi has to go down to 99.6 to warrant any of this. Pero ang labo eh. Medyo-
Okay, yeah, I
and-
think that might be it.
Di pa. We can't see
yeah,
for
wait,
sure
wait,
kasi...
it's a clean miss though. It's a clean miss. So,
Yeah, we can't see just yet kasi Tenshi's misses tend to be a bit dirtier compared to Wewoj's. Kaya if Tenshi finds a drop here, that's gonna give it to Wewoj na. But
there you
accuracy
go.
goes
There
to-
you go. There's
well,
a miss. Is it gonna be
Pero,
enough though?
wait lang. And, well, the act difference is there. Pero it's only one miss. It has to be two. Oh, wait. Oh, my God.
yeah,
Okay, wait.
This is gonna
Wait
be
lang,
close.
wait lang.
This is gonna be super close.
Pinakabahan ako. Tenshi, you can't miss now! Oh my God, please.
Oh my
Wait lang,
god.
wait lang.
Wait,
please.
I think it's enough.
Kinakabahan ako.
I think it's enough. Oh, late miss from
Ah,
Wewoj!
okay. Yeah,
Ooh.
that
Ooh.
gave it. Whoa.
Wow.
Woo!
Ooh.
Okay. Kinabahan ako. Kasi that would, okay, even without that miss,
Yeah,
that still would have been
that
Tenshi's
would have
point
been
by
enough.
like 200.
That would have been enough, I'd say. Yung miss lang talaga. The miss was the assurance, but man.
Kinabahan ako doon. Kinabahan ako doon pero Tenshi gets it. Although the problem is wala na siyang rice picks. Alam mo, if Wewoj picked this and it was a 3-2 situation, if this was a 3-2 situation, that would have been a bad look talaga.
Indeed.
In terms of, kasi, buti na lang talaga Wewoj got that one break point. If not, this would have been 3-3, which is,
Yeah.
of course, not the worst situation. Pero, it's still not as good as 4-2. Hybrid 3,
Okay, I don't like this pick. I actually don't like this pick.
I mean, what other picks does Tenshi have, though?
Hybrid 2.
I don't think...
Hybrid 2 is the better hybrid pick, I'd say.
Well, okay. Let's put it like this, ha. If this is what Tenshi prefers to play right now, edi yun na lang.
I mean, okay like the theory here is that, kasi, Hybrid 2 is way more rice-based than the other two. And at least Tenshi could have at least, use that as leverage eh. Eto, while there is still some rice element here, I'm just not sure. Kasi ito yung mga tipong, I feel like this is like those types of that Wewoj would prefer playing. Pero to be fair, Wewoj hasn't really picked this, so how do we know? How would we know?
I mean, assume na lang na Tenshi also isn't aware of what kind of pick that is.
I mean, we're looking at someone who's sight reading the pool, so... Pero early start, okay.
Yeah, accuracy is really well for Tenshi right now. This accuracy, that's what Tenshi has to rely on. Because this entire match, there's really been opportunities for Tenshi to out-act Wewoj. I think baka siguro naramdaman niya yung kanta. And feel ko the BPM was enough.
That miss.
Mm-hmm.
That miss was
Pero
pretty
let's
big.
see. Pero accuracy still within striking range, kaya it's not gonna affect it the most.
Well, here comes like a bit more of these technical portions. And Wewoj is super solid right now. Tenshi finding yet another drop, almost dropping the below 99%. I think this might be it. While there's in the second half, medyo malaki-laki ng lamang. Like, it will take a breakdown here from Wewoj.
Ayun lang talaga. That's the only problem here. But hey, accuracy, it's sadly, I think medyo lumaki na talaga yung agot nila. Doesn't help that the misses were there. Alright, so here's the thing. Kailangan, like what I said, he has to hope for more misses here from Wewoj, but doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
Yeah, Wewoj is just super consistent now. I think sinasabi ko eh, like I feel like this is the riskier pick of the two hybrids. Mostly because of like with how technical it is and the LN usages. Yeah, ano eh, like another big miss from Tenshi, and I think this will be it. Wewoj should be advancing to the winners bracket quarterfinals.
And Tenshi is gonna be, well, okay. To Tenshi's credit, the ratio was close. But I don't know. Actually, in my opinion, I feel like either hybrid would have been the same result. But I have a feeling Tenshi went with this. Baka yun na nga, like what I said, baka naramdaman niya na he could be on the same act with Wewoj here. And to his credit, it almost was there. It's just, I just have a feeling the patterning wasn't enough. Or like, wasn't really to Tenshi's favor.
Yeah, I mean, massive props still for Tenshi for stealing 2 points off number 4 seed, over number 4 seeded player here. And congratulations here to Wewoj.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy kasi this really could have been 3-3 at some point, which I still think that's very insane. But then Tenshi did a really good job. The fact that 5-2 was the result, especially with seed 4 versus seed 13, and like you have to remember, Mania isn't one of those modes where even with a big seed it's going to not matter much, unlike Osu standard. Kasi combo scoring isn't exactly the same here.
Yeah, like like massive props. And I think like let's go to the bracket. Kasi I actually think na like whoever Tenshi is facing in the losers bracket is gonna have a pretty fun time, let's say.
Oh, it's Shadow-kun, I think.
Yeah, nga eh.
Yeah.
So Wewoj versus Bueno next weekend sa winners bracket. And indeed, we'll have Shadow-kun and Tenshi. Very interesting matchup.
Okay, I'm telling this. Okay, here's my I want to say this right now. Tenshi needs to work on that ceiling very fast. Bakit? Kasi, kung napapansin mo, Tenshi's accuracy was around Wewoj's, right? On a lot of these picks. At tingin ko, Shadow-kun has slightly worse accuracy than Wewoj. Or maybe even worse in general. At Tenshi, with a player like Tenshi who can keep up with Wewoj's accuracy, that's really bad news.
Yeah. Pero again, we will have a harder pool, so both of these players actually have to work on a few things. Also, Shadow-kun, sana man lang magising ka na sa alarm mo. If you know, you know.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, that's
alright.
what happened yesterday. But anyways, moving on. So, ang ating next match po is a pretty interesting one. We have, ang ating VTuber and a newcomer to the nationals. So we have Arquin Olivares versus GB and GB, yeah. Yun nga.
Jabi.
Jabi. Naman to, nagugutom mo.
I just ate Jollibee, okay? Kaya
Wow,
ganun.
sana all.
You don't even like Jollibee, come on. Sige.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think that's it for me, sir. I just want to say congrats to both of these players. Wewoj did an amazing job showing that consistency, and for Tenshi, wow, actually, sir, very, very, very proud of that performance, and I hope he is also very proud of himself for taking 2 points
Yeah,
here.
indeed.
That's all for me. Go ahead.
So I guess we'll close out this stream for now. We will be back at around 4 p.m. kasi 20 minutes from now na lang. And I think we'll have a change of commentary again. Babalik si Itawachi mamaya at 4 p.m. At least that's what I know.
Ayan.
At least that's what I
Ayun,
know.
babalik. Okay, so
Ay,
that
wait,
means
wait.
back to top.
Wait. I think I just remember Yuri PVRX nga pala siya babalik. Oh shoot. We'll see what
Let's
happens.
see.
We'll see what happens.
Let's see. May capstone pa ako, so I gotta take my leave for a bit. I might be back for this match as well. Pero let's see na lang.
Also, if you
Thank you
guys,
so much, sir.
Also, if you guys are still interested in being part of the commentary team for the Oso Philippines Nationals 2025 Osmani 4K Summit Tournament, please send me a DM sa Discord or just ping me whatever I'm reachable. But kahit message sa Oso account ko pwede din. Anyways, this has been Lovely Peninsula and Sergio 85 for PHNM2025. I'll see you guys later.